What do you think about war?
It's sad.
What?
It's sad.
Why?
Well, what's good about it?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
And they simply say that everything would be completely different.
Why are you going to sit so far from the front?
Yes, to do repairs. Repairs. I'm a mechanical engineer and power engineer by profession.
Were you able to repair anything?
Not a bit at all. I only took the machine gun at the proven ground.
Are you mobilized?
Contract soldier.
A volunteer?
It turns out yes.
And how did this happen?
Volunteer, a classmate just told me. Turns out we studied together. So he said that everything will be fine, you will repair thing there.
Does he fight himself?
No, that's exactly the point.
So it turns out he cheated.
It turns out yes.
Why did you listen to him say that he
I
doesn't fight?
listened so that everything was fine, but my classmate wouldn't cheat. He seemed like a normal guy, we talked and that's it.
So maybe we should call a classmate?
I don't know his number.
Sadly, yes.
I don't even have a phone.
What would you tell him?
I really told him this when I realized where I ended up.
Thank you say?
Well, in other words, explain that.
That he deserves insults, right?
Well, yes, and not only that.
And not only that. Okay, interesting story. I just had a guy who made a bet with his girlfriend he would go to war.
I heard that. I heard that drunks sign on a bet.
Every second drunk signs. Oh shit.
But I will say that when I was at, what is it called correctly, the recruitment point or what, where they send everyone from, well, the assembly point where they took us from. Out of 96 people, well, 15 at most were sober. Well, not sober, but adequate.
Okay. So, ready?
Yes.
What is your religion?
Orthodox.
Orthodox. Do you believe in God?
I believe as everyone believes. Yes, not very religious. I was only at the church for my nephew baptizing. That's probably all.
And at Easter?
No, I only wore a cross.
So you don't really believe?
It turns like this.
Oh well.
That's all.
We build bridges right away. Wife, children.
Divorced, daughter 18 years old.
Have you been divorced for a long time?
In 2013.
Oh, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Why did you get divorced?
We didn't get along.
You agreed on having a daughter, but couldn't make life together work.
It turns out like this.
That's how it works. Do you maintain a relationship with your daughter?
Yes, I support her.
With your wife yourself?
We communicate well, sort of. We don't argue, no swearing. We parted without swearing.
Hello, bye-bye, how are you?
Yes. Well, that about my daughter, I need to help somehow.
Got it. Does she already have another one?
Yes.
Do you know him?
Yes.
Normal.
Normal guy.
Did he get together with her?
Well, they seem to have 2 more children, so they got together and are living.
It couldn't just be that, like with you. We agreed on the children, and then what?
No, they leave.
So why didn't you agree on who was bothering whom?
Well, I guess it was because I was constantly on rotational shifts. I worked shifts and I wasn't really at home.
Let's go then. Education.
Incomplete higher education.
9 classes.
No, technical school, technical school.
What technical school?
Mechanical engineering.
What did you study?
Mechanical and energy.
Like generators?
Repair and operation of industrial equipment, metal cutting machines. Full name.
Full name. Was it useful?
Yes.
Fine. Why didn't you finish higher education?
Again, shifts. Not enough money, and that's it.
So then, in other way, where did you work such shift that you should have become a millionaire? In Udmurtia?
I didn't work shifts in Udmurtia. I worked in the Republic of Tatarstan and generally throughout Russia.
Did I turn it on? Because I'm a really interesting guy.
I don't know, look.
It seems I did.
The Republic of Tatarstan is the most than saying Petersburg, Moscow, and the North.
Norse?
Yes.
Well, is your specialty fixing things?
I was a foreman of the production area, to be brief initially, that is, for metalworking, turners, milling machines.
Come on, for us, the stupid ones, what did you actually do?
Lead people.
And what did the workshop do?
Oil, gas, equipment, industrial equipment.
I understand that I don't understand anything, but it's very interesting. And you've been working on this all your life?
Yes, sometimes as a foreman, sometimes as a manager.
Well, plus or minus, in short.
Plus minus, yes.
On one
On
topic.
one topic, metalworking.
Didn't become a surgeon.
No, it's all metalworking and all that. Connected.
Served compulsory service.
I did not serve in the military.
How so?
I was diagnosed with an athlete's heart and was discharged at 18 years old.
Athlete's heart?
Yes, that is in a calm state. It beats much quieter than it should.
How much is this?
I don't know, I was riding off and that's it. Now I'm in a restless state.
Everything is fine there.
Yes?
Wait. 76. How much of a number is normal?
I don't remember exactly. Well, I also had bronchial asthma, but then it was removed.
Are you cured?
It turns out yes, only it was chronic. It can be cured. Well, basically, I was riding off. I hadn't even finished technical
Yeah.
school yet.
Seriously, I'm really curious. Normal pulse is like 90 beats per minute, right? 80. How many were yours?
Much less was riding off, maybe 60 something. There it is checked very specifically. You get on a bike a lot, you pedal, your pulse is checked. If you is not elevated, not too high, but as it should be, then it is checked in a calm state, lying down. Well, there are many checks like that.
Well, in short, when was asthma writing off?
Asthma was over. I was still in school, somewhere around probably years.
Asthma was over.
Well, how else can I say?
I understand. It was there, then it left, right?
Well, yes.
So it turned out. Well. Did you make yourself a second wife?
Well, of course I lived with a woman. I'm not a reckless.
What did you say? I'm not?
Not a reckless.
Well, there were all sorts
No.
of people here. There were those who had never done it before. He was already 60. He said, I still
No,
never did
everything
it.
is fine with me. I only have one daughter. I didn't want to have more children because with such a job and
What is your
lifestyle.
work schedule? Do you just focus on it all the time? Well, how long have you been away from home?
Basically, I was living maybe in general when I lived with my first wife. I had a shift. One of the shifts was 8 months without coming home. At that time, the child was 2 months old when I left.
You got away with it well, briefly speaking.
Well, it turns out yes. Well, how else to earn money? The salaries
And
were...
they probably paid you millions billing there.
The family had enough to
How
live
much
on.
is this in money? We are talking about somewhere around the year 2000.
2006.
2006.
Well, 40.
So 40, this is not shift work.
And at home in my specialty, I received the maximum if I worked in the same mode as I did, well, 12,000, that's in best case.
Well, then, perhaps... I agree. When did you sign the contract? Well, that's right, a contract's over.
Yes, I'll tell you now. 31st, so my contract starts on November 1st,
What year?
23rd.
Ah, so you're almost a millionaire already. Well, yes, you made some money. Well, that's how it
Well,
is.
that's how it works. Well, if...
That's how it works. Remove all words.
Yes, if you remove all the words, then yes.
Well.
The contract ends on October 31st.
Yeah, that's bullshit. You don't have to tell me when you run out of it. You'll run out of it when you die.
Oh.
Your contracts are not being broken. How do you... Why don't you believe this?
Why, I believe it. I have already been told about
What did
it
they
there.
tell you?
I knew that when I had already arrived at the unit, I had already learned that some order had been signed that contracts would be automatically extended until the end of the SMO.
If you want, I'll tell you. I'll make you happy. When you signed, it was right in there.
Well, that means I didn't read everything.
I say this because if you read, you would have read this.
Yes.
What, the paper printer on both sides?
1, 2, there were 2 sheets, if I'm not mistaken.
2 sheets on both sides?
Yes.
Well, how much have you read? Honestly only. I'm just curious.
Well, I checked my data and finished reading. It seemed that they should be provided with everything necessary.
So, in short, did you read only the beginning?
Well, yes, it turns out. Well, I'm telling it like it is.
You'd understand that out of all the 500s, there are contract holders which were here. Only one read it all. Why? Because he is a lawyer. And he still signed it. So, in short, you're rubbing the microphone with your beard. The critic will court there. Give the critic like... Well, it's restless there. Okay. Still nothing works out for me. Who did you work as in 2022? There?
In 2022, I worked in,
No, come on. Where were you working in 21? Something not right here.
In 21st, I was still in St. Petersburg.
What were you doing there?
Work in my specialty.
In the 22nd?
In 2022, I was already in Votkinsk, that is in my homeland.
In Udmurtia?
Yes, and I also worked in my specialty.
And how much?
No more than 40, but I worked 12 hours.
Yeah, got it. Okay, have you lived with someone?
At that time, I was not in a relationship.
No relationship. Did you pay alimony?
Yes.
Is alimony paid until the age of 18?
Yes.
How much did you have left on hand?
Almost 30.
Apartment of your own?
No, I lived with my parents. They have their own house there.
Got it. What did you do in 2023?
In warehouses, managing companies in the Ozon warehouse and in the Yandex warehouse.
35,000.
I received about 50 net.
Well, what about the deduction?
It was clean 50.
Already in your hands.
Clean in hands, that's what's mine there. All the deductions, everything went away.
Your parents have an apartment there, right?
Yes, I worked in warehouses already in Samara. The accommodation provided a room. Well, like a room, a bunk there. A small room.
Got it, okay. What happened in 2023?
They provide driving license.
For alcohol.
Yes, for alcohol.
How much was the fine?
The fine is still hanging, 30,000. Then, a year and a half had not passed since the last deprivation, but I found out about this later. A criminal case was opened. That is, I came to Samara Watkins, talked to the investigator who was handling the case. He said that I was working there and that I needed to leave. He said, okay, that's it, we'll call. Well, I don't know if they called or not, but in general, at that moment, I happily blew it, so to speak.
Have you been put on a
Yes,
wanted
on
list?
the federal wanted list. I found out about this already at the station when I was getting home.
Did the police approach you?
I was taken out of the bus in handcuffs. That is, they let me into the bus, apparently so as not to create a crowd. When the bus was leaving the bus station, 2 men in plain clothes came in at the barrier and asked.
I like this phrase of theirs, 2 in plain clothes. Where did you get this word?
They didn't come in uniform. They came in simple civilian clothes.
Why don't you say 2 in civilian clothes, but say in plain clothes?
Well, it's something like this. We've gotten used to it, perhaps even from
because
movies.
You have stupid movies.
Well, if we take TNT or NTV, they only have such films.
Well, yes, Gangster Petersburg and all this stuff.
Yes.
Violent police.
They showed me ID, I introduced myself, they handcuffed me behind my back and took me out.
When was this?
It was mid-August 23rd year. And then I was for a very long time taken to Ijevsk, the capital of Udmurtia.
What is very long?
I traveled for 3 weeks.
Like escorted?
Yes, with everyone together, with the criminals, in an escort, in this carriage with bars.
Why are you so surprised? You were wanted, you were caught, you were taken to where you have a criminal case.
But it took a long time to get there.
How many kilometers is it?
700.
Yes, but no more, there are not 1,000 there.
No, there are no thousands.
Well, you arrived already a seasoned criminal, in short, a thief in law.
Well,
Once upon a time there
No.
was Amber and Shafir.
this type of romantic doesn't appeal to me.
Well.
They sentenced me.
What article do you have?
Oh, I don't remember. Now it is like 300 something.
They gave you conditionally.
Hours. Hours and some other fine. I didn't really
Hour
read
for
it.
people, tell me what it is, because our country
This
is not
is-
like yours.
This is free work for the state, whatever they say.
Did you go to work?
Yes, I had to.
How long for?
A week, but if you don't go to work, you'll actually be locked up for...
What were you doing?
Some papers were being moved. The archive was being sorted out, so to speak.
Were there secret documents?
No, it's a water utility.
Were there secret water supply documents?
Didn't come across any.
Don't write to me if you work for the water utility and don't have any classified documents. Yeah. Well. You work the hours. How many are there? How
I
does
didn't
it happen
finish the
there?
hours. They called me back to the penal service, and there they offered me they'll give me my license there, they'll close everything, all the hours, all the debts, sign the contract. I'm telling I won't pass the medical examination because I didn't serve my military service. I didn't know about this topic at all. I mean, how does it all work? This later, over the time, while in the SMO,
At
say
war or
that-
in the SMO?
I was going to the SMO, a special military operation. Here I already understood that a full-scale war was going on. That this was not some operation, but a war.
Well, let's write it all off. Let's rewrite it. You won't pass the commission. They tell you, but we'll solve everything. Everything will pass.
They told me right away that he would pass the medical examination. Don't worry either. I say, well, okay, what will I do there? I didn't serve my term. They tell me you have a profession. Repair, maintenance, you have everything set up there. Here we have such and such a man. That's where he lives. He's been repairing machines for 2 years. He works on the machine himself and makes spare parts. That's where they'll send you. Why, it's like I'm really old, not a boy, not 30, already over 40. What, are you going to work in such field? I say, well, why not? Moreover, at that time it was 195,000. You get this for crossing the ribbon that is abroad when you move to Ukraine. I say, well, everything is great.
To Ukraine.
To Ukraine. Everything will be great if it happens that way. I had my doubts until the very end. I went to undergo a medical examination.
And what did you know at the moment when you were going? Pass the commission. What's going on here?
I'll be honest, I only knew that was shown on TV on the REN TV channel.
What are they showing?
That everything is fine, everything ends, we win everywhere, there are no real losses, everything is fine with us. We are the best, we're cleaning out the Nazis.
Cleared.
I haven't seen them.
Okay, next.
Of course, I passed the medical examination. That's it. 2 days later, they called me on the third morning. I came to the military registration and enlistment office with spare clothes, underwear, socks, a towel, a toothbrush. Well, as usual, like on the shift, you get ready.
I see.
That's it. They took us to Ijevsk in a minibus. They were handed it over to the assembly line. We went in. Everything happened there. Paperwork, signing, that's it. They took us to the bus. Some part.
Why did you start telling me that some friend was deceiving you?
This one who called me, this is my classmate.
He was in
the penal service. I don't know exactly what his position is, but he is there.
Was your classmate there?
We studied 4 years. Here is his desk. Here is my desk.
What is his name?
Alexander.
Alexander. Do you have good friends?
That's how I got there.
Awesome friends you have. Alexander, are you watching this video, you asshole? You just lied. What's your name?
Maxim.
You deceived Maximka. It turns out he deceived you.
It turns out, yes.
Oh, Alexander. Well. You have a good friend.
Very.
He has good tricks.
Very. They put us on a bus. Some of them were left along the way somewhere in the Rostov region. I don't remember the exact name of this place. And they brought us 7 people to the village of Persyanovsky. There is a training ground
The
there.
date, well, plus or minus.
Plus or minus, it's around the...
It's September.
It's already November. The date was 5th, 7th... No later than the
I see.
7th.
You were arrested in August, you traveled for a month, roughly speaking, then you worked some more in September, then something there, while back and forth November, everything worked out correctly. Good.
There we sat for a week just like that. Then we had training on the field, like a training ground, training according to plan. We went out, lined up, knelt down, stood up.
I see. And when you left the training ground, what unit did you end up in? What kind of division was it?
So, well, I can't say the exact date when we were transferred from there. I crossed the border on the 22nd.
November 22nd.
Yes. Motorized Rifleman, 150th Division.
150th Division. When was your first battle?
We were mostly unfailing as such. I had a fight in which I got caught, and even then it's very difficult to call it a fight. If in terms of a fight, then it is go to somewhere, storm, fight back, get stuffed.
When were you captured?
June 3rd.
June. Well, it turns out he ran for 6 months. Then it's December, 7 months.
Of these 7 months, I was in the unit for 1.5 months. Translated into the type of formation, regrouping, and like that.
Understood.
We were mainly engaged until the new year, even a little bit in January, mid-February. We were still sitting in the gardens. That is, we come there for 3 days. Look there.
Where is this geographically?
This is territorially above Bakhmut towards Ivanovka.
Got it, yes, I got it.
What we did was sit, watch, report on the radio about movement, no movement, cars, no cars. There was this field, as I understand, in the demarcation line. Then they moving us, we started dragging the wounded and dead. Then they took me to the unit, and when they brought me from the unit, there were no people there at all. They formed 3 groups of 4 people and sent us off.
Tell me about your last week,
Services.
yeah,
Well,
work. You went to earn money,
Well,
right?
yes, it turns out work.
Well, that is, look, what is the concept? Why did I try to put this together and go into details? Because we started with one thing, that it seems like normal money, he lives normally here and there. Then the story that he lives with his parents, being 38 years old or 35 years old, living with his parents, everything is clearly shitty. The same time alimony and so on, well, like a shitty life, I'll call it that. Well, because there's not enough money, essentially, with a 12-hour workday. Plus, in short, a second bus stop, as I understand it, 1-2 hits on the police. Were there any loans?
No, I didn't take out any loans.
Didn't take out any mortgage or anything?
No.
Okay. So it turns out that then suddenly Samara, St. Petersburg, then Samara in short. In fact, if he was sitting at home, well, at home on his bed in Samara, what was he analyzing? I'm almost 40, I haven't achieved anything, I live in some tiny room, I work in a warehouse, I get 50,000 for it, half of which goes to who knows where.
Alimony, food, cigarettes.
And that's all.
Half of it is definitely
Yes,
gone.
well, anyway, in short, a phone is not a phone, top it up by something or not. My parents already old, in short, I need to help them too. Throw off 10 grand a month, right?
Definitely, I need to help my daughter, she's studying.
Well, that's where trouble comes in. I mean, this story about my friend deceiving me. He made it up for himself. In fact, the key point was what? That he might have gone to serve earlier, but he discouraged himself by saying that he would not pass the medical examination. When did you first think that you would go? That you had to go and earn money?
When they called me there for a talk.
No, and before that?
I never imagined they'd write me off and
Didn't
leave
think.
me out of compulsory service.
Yes, that is, what if you hadn't been right enough?
I would consider this option, definitely.
So this whole story is about money, in short, nothing more, nothing less. And what if he didn't have this, what's called white ticket?
Yes.
I think that in 2022, somewhere around October, November, he would have been either a conscript in short and with joy, or he would have gone and signed the contract himself. But something in his soul stopped him. And how many times have you thought, damn, if only my health was okay, I would already be like...
I didn't.
Didn't think about it.
I didn't plan at all. I didn't think about it at all.
Didn't you regret being right enough?
No, but I haven't seen this life. I've never tried it. I don't know what it is.
Nobody so.
Well, I didn't even serve in the army.
How
I
many
didn't
of your
even
friends
try.
are fighting?
I don't really have any friends. I had two best friends. They died a long time ago, but
Where
otherwise...
did they die a long time ago?
No, in Russia it's different. One was hit by a car, the other hanged himself.
Okay, but why only two?
Two best friends? Who else should I talk to? Why more? They are the best.
No, I mean, why only two of them die? I would, if there were more, it's fine there. I would sing Hallelujah there. You're a believer.
No, just like that. Just like that, well, from
Got
relatives.
it, right. What am I saying? I don't know, well, right here or here in the chat or there in the chat below or right in the comments. What do you say about my Висновки? Висновки, how is it translated?
Assumptions.
Conclusions.
Conclusions.
I brought you... Well... Because you're Russian. I'm Russian, I'm standing to the
I
end.
only heard this song here.
Weak-willed. Because you didn't have time. You worked day and night
Most likely, yes.
to try to align something somehow, but it doesn't align.